Good.
Good for you.
That's good.
Okay, folks, it is 12 noon, right on the button, according to my little clock here. And I call to order the Rotary meeting for Bedford, Indiana on a beautiful snowy day. We woke up with our snow was getting dirty, as Donna said, and we needed to have it refreshed. So here we are, another day of Rotary and another day with a little bit of snow. Okay, well, we'll call the meeting to order. Does anybody have any special announcements you'd like to bring to our attention? Well, as you know, we're not going to waste a lot of time today. We're going to get right into the program. John Bush has the program today and is going to introduce our guests for us. We may be a few in number today, but we'll keep going on the program and others will drop in as time flies along. All right, John, welcome to the new day. Are you ready,
Well,
John?
I wanted to ask, I didn't catch what Donna said about Charles, on an update on Charles, how he's doing. I know he's been moved to a facility in Newburgh, but how's he doing?
Well, Elizabeth has not been down to see him because of the weather since he made the move. He made the move last Friday and felt that it was probably too much like the following day to go over the weekend. And then, of course, the weather got bad. So she has not seen him, but she has talked to him. The other thing that she's been extremely impressed with, how not only does he, her real concern during the time he was on the ventilator was that he wouldn't get enough oxygen and it would affect his brain. And he's so, bright that he, she did not, that was one of her prayers. So not only that, but, he told her about taking the tour, gave really detailed information about the facility. And then she said his last words before they hung up was, how are we going to be able to thank everyone? So
they don't need to thank us.
Yeah, very good. Very good. For those of you who don't know, Charles Shetler is our club treasurer, and he contracted COVID in October. He's been in the hospital and now in a rehab facility since October the 28th. He's had a terrible time, but anyway. All right. Well, thanks, Donna. I just wanted to catch that. Because of my terrible satellite connection out here in the middle of nowhere, I am going to turn over to Susie Graham for her to introduce Lynn Coyne. I will try to talk through a little bit that I met Susie because we set up a scholarship in memory of our two mothers at Ivy Tech in Bloomington because they were both good cooks and they have a culinary department in their hospitality. So we wanted to set up a scholarship to help other people who are going to be cooks. So Susie, I'll turn it over to you and maybe people can hear it without my lips being about 4 sentences behind.
John, I appreciate that. So before I introduce Lynn, just so I can get the technical things out of the way, I'm going to share my screen and I want to make sure that everybody is able to see what I'm showing. So do you all see a slide that says Ivy Tech bringing value to Indiana and Lawrence County?
Very clearly.
Yes.
Very good.
Excellent. I'm so glad. Well, so our speaker today is Lynn Coyne, who is a trustee for the Bloomington campus of Ivy Tech Community College. His service there is a continuation of a lifetime of engagement in education and economic development. He has served as president and CEO of the Bloomington Economic Development Corporation and assistant vice president for real estate, economic development, and associate counsel for Indiana University. Before joining IU, he practiced law in Bloomington, primarily in business, real estate, and land use planning. He has been an adjunct instructor at IU's Kelly School of Business and O'Neill School of Public and Environmental Affairs. Throughout his career, Lynn has been active in many professional and community service organizations. He chaired the Indiana University Health Bloomington Hospital Board of Directors during its planning for the new Regional Academic Health Center, and now serves on the South Central Regional Board for IU Health. He has also served as president of the Monroe County Community School Corporation and co-chaired its successful school funding referendum committee in 2016. Not surprisingly, Lynn's distinguished career has been recognized by numerous organizations with numerous awards. Beyond all of this, Lynn is just a great guy, and it's my genuine pleasure to work with him for the betterment of Ivy Tech, the state of Indiana, and the communities we serve. So, fellow Rotarians, I'm happy to introduce you to Lynn Coyne, who will share some insights today about Ivy Tech and what the college means for all Lawrence County citizens. It's all yours, Lynn.
Well, thank you, Susie. I appreciate that introduction. Thank you, everybody. It's great to be at your Rotary Club and with old friends and familiar faces. And I can't tell who all are there, but welcome, everybody. And I appreciate this opportunity to share with you some of my observations about Ivy Tech and how that relates to Lawrence County. Also, I want to mention, I can't tell, but if Shauna Gerges is on this call or not, but Shauna is also Ivy Tech trustee in Bloomington, and it's awesome to work with her. So kind of to set this up, but before I begin, I'd like to ask you to think of someone in your life, perhaps a family member or a neighbor or a coworker or a friend, maybe a high school student who's in the early stages of considering career choices, or a colleague who's ready for a career change, or maybe a neighbor who's unemployed or someone unemployed that has a desire to learn new skills to get a new job, a better job. Think of this person as you listen to my remarks, because that's sort of who I'm thinking about when I'm talking like this. And I'll circle back to them at the conclusion. But as Susie mentioned, I've had the good fortune to serve as a trustee of the Bloomington campus of Ivy Tech Community College. And it has been a wonderful, eye-opening experience. I'm sure you all know that Ivy Tech serves the entire state through a network of regional campuses. That's how it's organized. And the Bloomington campus serves Lawrence County as well as 7 other counties in our vicinity. Within that footprint, there are also instructional sites outside the campus. And these include one in the Stonegate Arts and Education Center in the famous Shauna M. Gerges building in downtown Bedford. Thank you again, Shauna, for your leadership on that. It's just amazing. I've been there. It's a terrific facility. When I began my service 6 years ago, I thought I was pretty well informed about the college. I mean, I sort of had the layman's view of the world. But let's just say I was pleasantly surprised to learn how much I didn't know about what Ivy Tech brings to our state and what it means for our communities and our families and our friends and everybody else. And not insignificantly to our employers like Lehigh Cement, General Motors, Crane, and the numerous contractors who support Crane's work. And frankly, everyone of you here today in Lawrence County. So let's talk a little bit about what Ivy Tech does mean for us. So at its core, it means that every citizen of the state has an opportunity to get the skills and the training they need to live fulfilling lives with well-paying jobs. It means that whether you're a recent high school graduate or an adult looking to reinvent yourself in a new career, there's a place for you at Ivy Tech and a pathway to help you get to your destination. It means that Hoosiers can get an education close to home without breaking the bank, especially when considering the return on investment for that education, which I'll touch on a little bit later. It means whatever your past history is with school or higher education, you won't be turned away. If you need additional support with math or writing or other skills, they provide that. If you've been out of the classroom for 40 years, like me, Ivy Tech helps you succeed in a new learning environment, which is most likely will include a virtual classroom component. They'll help you adjust to that and learn how to do that. And along the way, there is a strong network of support services. They're all free to the student, any student, whether you're the high school graduate or you're the person out of school for a year, whatever it is, they're all available free to you. And they'll minimize the risk of falling through the cracks. And these things include academic tutoring in virtually every subject area. So if you have any issues, there's someone there to help you with that class. Life coaching. This is where we help students stay on track to juggle the demands of classes, work, family, and daily life, just to help them get through so that they can get to their classes and succeed. And we also do career coaching. This makes valuable connections between the students and potential employers. So we help line our students up with the job they want. There's what we call proactive advising, and that's where there's an advisor on the campus who is your partner, the student's partner, and helps the student select the right classes in the right program and on the right time frame to help that student meet their goals. Add to that financial advising. This includes access to grants, scholarships, and other help in underwriting and education and minimizing student loan debt. As there's also a robust student life experience to help students connect with each other, make friends, and take advantage of meaningful leadership and skill building opportunities that also help them succeed in the workplace. Now, how do we do this? Well, the main thing is we deliver it through a terrific faculty. It means that students have the benefit of outstanding committed faculty. These people bring a strong balance of academic and real world experience to the classroom. They all have at least a master's degree or an industry equivalent in their discipline. Now, most of these adjunct instructors that we have are also employed in their field as practitioners. So they are seeing it every day and they're on the leading edge of what's going on. But primarily, they're all focused on the success of our students. The images you see here on this slide are faculty at the IU Bloomington, Ivy Tech Bloomington, who have earned distinguished faculty awards from their peers statewide. Larry Swafford, Dr. Swafford is a fixture on our campus, as is Professor Sarah Cote and Professor Josh Farrington. These people are outstanding and recognized for that throughout the state. So with the faculty in our classes and whatever, it means that a student can choose from a number of high demand careers in academic areas that not only suit their goals and interests, but lead to high paying jobs. So among these, let's just go down a few of them. Information technology. Okay, in our technology-driven world, for example, Ivy Tech prepares students for almost limitless opportunities in computing fields, including database management, informatics, network management, software development, and many others you can see on this slide. The job placement in these career fields is nearly 100% in some of these fields, like cybersecurity. It is not unusual for an Ivy Tech grad to earn $60,000 in their first year right after graduation. That's how high demand these things are. Health sciences. COVID has reminded us of the value of frontline healthcare workers. And Ivy Tech can prepare students for jobs in nursing, radiation therapy, respiratory therapy, medical assistant, and several other healthcare professions. And just like information technology, these healthcare professions are in demand and have excellent job placement opportunities and offer good wages. Now, skilled trades. Skilled trades are as much a part of Ivy Tech now as when it was chartered in 1963. Ivy Tech continues to provide training in heating, ventilation, air conditioning, welding, automotive technology, design technology, electrical engineering, and others here on the slide. For many reasons, these are some of the most in-demand careers in our communities. And as a result, like the other career fields we talked about, job placement is essentially guaranteed, and employers are offering both competitive earnings and excellent benefits for these jobs. And certainly, we know how important they are to us on a day-to-day basis. There are other program areas that, as you can see, the college also offers a full menu of areas of study that can prepare students for rewarding careers like teaching, social work, workforce training. They mentioned culinary arts, just an entire program area that we just hardly have time to mention. And add to that a strong component of workforce training. So what I mean by workforce training is that Ivy Tech serves a broad range of training and educational needs in the community, not just classwork as you typically associate. But if we are employed and we want to expand or improve our skill set, we can attend classes when it works for us, thanks to the college's flexible schedule. They will come into our workplace to offer hands-on instruction to strengthen skills. In fact, if you're an employer and you need your employees trained, you need to talk to Ivy Tech about customizing instruction for the unique needs of your industry and workplace. Last year alone, Ivy Tech Bloomington delivered nearly 14,000 hours of customized training to 350 workers in area workplaces. And there are many examples throughout, I'm sure, employers in the Lawrence County area of how this works. Now, having said all that, there are also ways that we can accelerate the options a student has to achieve success. So we can maximize the investment of time to get a credential. For example, high school students can get a jump on earning college credit through dual credit classes. This is where they take Ivy Tech classes in the high school, and that class counts both credit toward high school graduation and toward an Ivy Tech degree credential. There's also dual enrollment. This is where they're enrolled in high school, they're attending high school, and they also enroll in the same time at Ivy Tech, and they come to our campus or a learning site like the Stonegate learning site. There are even programs that make it possible to earn the two-year normal two-year degree in 11 months. There's another one to help working adults stay the course to complete their credential, their degree, in 2 years or under. There's a whole range of assisted and accelerated options for all student levels. So I want to localize this and see what Ivy Tech means in Lawrence County. So we'll look at some numbers here. So in the last academic year, 2019-2020, 356 of your high school students earned 2,185 credits through the dual credit program. This means that these 356 Lawrence County students had, before they even graduated from high school, completed at no cost to them or their families a portion or even all of their Ivy Tech credential requirements, saving them hundreds of dollars. And as you can see on this slide, those 2,185 credits equate to $326,760 in tuition in what they otherwise would have paid. I like to think of that as a scholarship to Lawrence County.
Mm-hmm.
No other post-secondary institution in Indiana that we know of allows for the free transfer of dual credits earned in high school. Get this thing moving here. I hope you can hear me. I have somewhat of an internet thing, and I'm getting an hourglass. Can you hear me?
We've been hearing you well. It's going
Okay.
well.
Okay, so thanks. Sorry for that pause. Just want to make sure. One of my absolute favorite memories is an Ivy Tech graduation when we were live, the last one. The students come across the stage and they're given their diplomas. And there was a special group of students who had a different sort of color cord around with their cap and gown. And come to find out, these were high school students who were receiving their Ivy Tech degree at graduation in May before they graduated from high school in June. So by the time they graduate from high school and walk across that stage in high school, they've already walked across the stage at Ivy Tech and have a 2-year associate's degree. It's absolutely phenomenal. And they're ready to go. and pursue whatever role in life they want to pursue. In the last academic year, we had 549 Lawrence County residents taking classes through the Ivy Tech Bloomington campus. Now, these are students who are studying close to home. They're most likely to stay in Lawrence County. They work, live, buy a home, send their children to school, pay taxes, and participate in the Lawrence County community life. This is what we're trying to do in Indiana, is keep our people home. As far as credentials go, 257 Lawrence County students earned 322 credentials at Ivy Tech Bloomington. Now, these credentials bring value to Lawrence County employers. They bring value to Lawrence County families through increased earning potential and quality of life. And just Lawrence County as a whole, as it seeks to elevate its educational attainment, and also makes it more attractive for employers to locate and expand in Lawrence County. So as you can see, Lawrence County is clearly a prime beneficiary of these opportunities that Ivy Tech provides to residents. So I want to talk a little bit so this Ivy Tech, all this stuff I've been talking about here and going on and on about, this Ivy Tech education can serve both our short-term and our long-term needs. So we can lay a foundation at Ivy Tech for job placement now, or for careers that may require advanced degrees down the road. Working with their advisors, students can actually map out an education plan to earn multiple short-term credentials on their way to getting a degree. So these stackable credentials show a student, or they allow a student to build on skills at successively higher levels, earning certifications that are readily recognized and they're valued by employers. I'll show you an example of that in just a moment. But I'm talking about if you're in a course for so long and you receive certain skills, you get a certificate. Then there's a technical certificate, and then you reach your associate's degree. So students can also maximize opportunities to transfer to a 4-year partner institution. So we talked about dual credits. These dual credits certainly help on this front, but Ivy Tech offers programs like Hoosier Link. So Hoosier Link is where a student would be admitted to IU Bloomington, but maybe not quite have the academic skill level to succeed. So they'll do their first year at Ivy Tech Bloomington to get them prepared for higher level work. And then they transfer to IU Bloomington as a sophomore. Many students simply complete their first 2 years of a 4-year bachelor's degree with us at Ivy Tech. And that takes advantage of a small class size, reduced living expenses, and affordable tuition before they transfer to a state 4-year institution as a junior. So thanks to the Commission for Higher Education's leadership, that's Indiana's Commission for Higher Education, if you're admitted to a public 4-year institution, IU, Indiana State, Ball State, Purdue, if you're admitted to a 4-year institution, your Ivy Tech general education credits will transfer with you. That's like getting the first 2 years of a 4-year degree for less than half the cost. So going back to what I talked about a little bit earlier, if we use some of those earning figures and see what it looks like for total cost and return on investment. So if you're earning a 2-year associate's degree, let's say cybersecurity, a student would pay roughly $10,000 for tuition and fees while earning these certificates that I said were stackable. So along the way to earning that 2-year degree, they're getting employability credentials. Let's say they want to work part-time in that career field. They now have a credential that they can use moving on to their full associate's degree. Upon graduation, the student could go straight into the workplace and begin drawing $60,000 annually. So if they had taken out a student loan to pay for that degree, they could start paying back that loan immediately over a 3-year period with monthly payments of around $300. If they also had scholarship support from a local group or Ivy Tech Foundation, then that would reduce their total cost and their payments would go down. By comparison, a student getting the same 2 years of course credit from one of our public four-year institutions would pay more than twice that amount with potentially twice the debt service and not have any credentials to make them work ready or employable. So there's even more to this. So here's some more exceptional news. So depending on a student's income level, some grants will completely underwrite the cost of an Ivy Tech education. You see those areas right here, the 5 areas on this slide. If you meet certain income level requirements, you can get a grant that will pay for your education in those areas. Plus the additional credentials you get along the way. That makes them incredibly valuable as employees. And there's something else along these lines to think about. Indiana has determined by the year 2025, we will need every year 50,000 individuals earning some type of advanced credential. Now that might be a degree, but it also could be one of the certificates, an industry certification or completion of an apprenticeship or an internship. Indiana needs these highly trained workers so we can continue to grow and compete economically as a state and meet the needs of Lawrence County and provide a quality of life for all our citizens. Ivy Tech statewide is currently contributing about 30,000 of those 50,000 credentialed individuals. So we've got a lot of ground to make up, but Ivy Tech is poised to help the state do this. This is what we're looking forward to. Now, I've given you a lot of stuff, but what I want to do is go back to the person I asked you to think about at the beginning of this conversation. And hopefully, by listening to what I've been saying here, you have a broader scope of knowledge about Ivy Tech that you can actually reach out to them and suggest they get in touch with us because we have an opportunity for them. All those folks, your neighbors, your friends, somebody you've seen that may be struggling, we have an opportunity for them, and the barrier to entry at Ivy Tech doesn't exist. Have them get in touch with us. Here is a slide to how to contact Ivy Tech. No matter how we do it, whether it's by phone, by email, on the web, get in touch with us and we'll take it from there. We will take that person wherever they are in their educational spectrum, and we will work with them and we will bring them into the Ivy Tech family and make them a success. We have all the resources to do that I've talked about. And we're happy to share these slides with your clubs so that you can have these points of contact after the meeting is over. I would encourage you to do that. So I've been babbling on here. I've unpacked a lot, and I hope you see, as I have over my experience, that Ivy Tech means a lot to all of us, perhaps more than we think about on a day-to-day basis. And we would love to double our Lawrence County enrollment. And so get out there and tell these people, come talk to us. We're ready for them. And if it's you, give us a call. We're ready to take over and help you with your academic and educational needs, your skill training. Thank you. I appreciate your time. I hope I didn't take too much of it.
Very good. I'm very interested. And education for our area is very important. I know. Let's continue on. Susie, go ahead.
Well, actually, I'm just here to facilitate any questions that you might have. I see from the chat, and I see her face, that Shauna did make it to the meeting. Hello, Shauna.
Hi, Shauna.
Hey, how's it going?
We're good. Good to see you.
Great job, Lynn.
Thank you.
What is your age span in the technical schooling?
Hold on to your horses because this may surprise you. So we have students from obviously who start as early as high school, right? So they can start taking these dual credit classes with us in high school. So, we're talking 15, 16 years old, but we have students who are up into their young 70s with us. So think about what that classroom experience is like, right? If you're a student, you go in there, the person on your left is maybe 18 years old. The person on your right is 50 or 60 and has a lifetime of experience behind them. It creates this lovely learning dynamic, right? Because you're getting all these different perspectives and learning from one another.
It's great. It's great. I'm still learning too in my young years.
I'd like to just thank you. I mean, I don't have a question, but in my slow internet connection here, I'd like to say that I really appreciate you doing this program. I know you might have some other questions, but I wanted to say, not only did we pick out Ivy Tech for the scholarship for our mothers, but Judy got her PhD in the early 90s in workforce development. And she was a strong supporter of career paths that did not require 4 years of college, because after 20 years, before she became the principal at North High School, she had 20 years in counseling. And so she went through thousands of students coming through. And as some of you probably know, there was always a push to go to college. You always had to go to college. Well, she didn't really believe that totally. And that's why she did her PhD in workforce development, along with, and Ivy Tech was back, that was back in the 80s, and Ivy Tech was only about 20 years old back then. So you've come a long way. It's a wonderful program. I can't say enough, and I want to thank you. But other people have questions, so I'll be quiet.
Well, I actually do have a question. I really appreciate the presentation, and I learned a lot about Ivy Tech and their students. But the one thing that you didn't address, and maybe this is outside your scope, but one thing that I thought about was continuing education. I know that Ivy Tech offers quite a bit of continuing education, and I don't know if you would like to say a little bit about your continuing education program.
Sure. There are a couple of aspects. There's what we have. We have lifelong learning. And those are special programs. They're free. Anybody can sign up to them on subject areas. There's a whole lifelong learning section, and Susie can give you information on that. But also, let's say you're in a career field and you want to learn more, you have a question or something, you call us and you say, look, this is what I'm doing. This is where I think I need some help. And then Ivy Tech will suggest things and put it together. I'll give you a personal example. I was consulting with a life science firm, and they were having constant federal audits and customer audits to make sure they complied with all these federal regulations. And I wasn't familiar with that. So I took a course at Ivy Tech on the regulatory environment. It happened to be medical, the pharmaceutical area. And they had this amazing class taught by industry experts. And I sat in on that class. And by the time it was done, I was completely conversant in this area. So to me, that's continuing education. You don't have to take 2 years of something. You can take one class in something if it will help you be educated. Now, Susie, if you had anything to add to that.
No, Lynn, you did a great job, and your personal experience is a perfect illustration. The only thing that I will say is that unless you are what we call a senior scholar, and that you have to meet an age threshold, age 60 or over, those lifelong learning classes that Lynn referenced are indeed not free. However, they are offered at a really nominal fee. And right now, those are being offered in a virtual environment since we can't get together. So believe it or not, they're still offering adult classes in art or creative writing. They're still teaching. We have camps for children, for school-age children. Again, we're delivering those virtually. And our instructors have really stepped up, adapting their face-to-face methods of teaching to suit a virtual environment. I think that, all faculty across the planet has had to make that adjustment, but we do it even in our non-credit division as well.
Well, thank you. I'm just always amazed at the scope of Ivy Tech. I mean, it just seems huge. so many classes and so many programs and so many campuses. It's just amazing. So good job.
Could I ask a question back of everyone here? So we agree with you. We think Ivy Tech is pretty amazing. How can we do a more effective job of getting the word out to families? Obviously, we're here with you today, right? So we're hopeful that you can serve as ambassadors as well. But are there other things that come to mind for you that we can pay close attention to, right? To get FaceTime with different groups. We work very closely with the school corporation. We certainly work closely with employers in Lawrence County. Are there other things that you know of that can guide us in helping getting that word out so that Lawrence County citizens can take advantage of these opportunities? We have a very active and engaged recruitment and admissions team. And so these are our, professionals on our staff who are out in all of the counties working with those school corporations, and they're hosting information sessions, moving on to college night where parents can come together with their children as they're thinking about what those next steps look like. Yes, we absolutely work with the academic advisors, those counselors in the school settings as well. And I know that through our workforce development program that Adam Gross manages for us. So Adam is the one who helps customize training for area employers. But Adam is also very involved in each of the counties and has excellent touch points with everyone. But Joyce, I'd like to hear if you have other thoughts about if you know of other ways that we're interfacing with the school corporations.
Well, we most certainly work with the chambers of commerce and the economic development groups in all the counties. And at one time I was on the Bedford Chamber of Commerce. And at that point, they had an education committee and we actually met in your schools semi-monthly. So we do keep open and are willing to serve in any way or capacity you feel would be helpful in your community.
And that's part of what we're doing today, is trying to give you enough background in Ivy Tech, enough breadth of understanding that it'll bring something, you'll think of it when you run into someone who says, gosh, I can't afford to go to IU, or someone lost a job and their student can't go to IU, whatever. You'll think of Ivy Tech. You'll go, wait a minute, this isn't over. Here, you need to call these people. They'll take care of it for you. So each one of you is an important contact point in your community.
So this is Shauna. I'm turning my camera on. The one thing I would say as a parent is because of my connection to Ivy Tech, I'm aware of the programs. I don't know that all parents have that same level of understanding and information about it. I think if they understood the capacity, kind of Lynn's example of students graduating with their associate's degree before they get their diploma from high school. I mean, if they understood that capacity, I think that more parents would want, particularly at no cost, right? People automatically think, well, if they're doing dual credit, it's going to cost me so many, dollars an hour. I think that more people would be interested in that for their kids. That's just my opinion.
Let me speak to that too, Shauna. I've had 7 children go through the high school, and I don't know that I have ever received an email, a letter, or anything that would help me to know. Now, I've known about it because I've been on the school board, but as as Shauna said, the parents that are involved in their children's education, I think, looking for opportunities like that. But I'm wondering for those that aren't, that maybe don't recognize that it's available. So I'm wondering if maybe, there could be an email that's sent to all, freshmen or sophomores or whatever you think would be the best way to do that to their parents. We're getting much more technologically savvy with everything that's come along. So I think there needs to be maybe some discussion about how that could possibly happen to make everybody aware, so that maybe it's not just a letter, but maybe a link that goes and into a presentation like this or something along the way. So if that's being done, I'm not aware. I'm just going back. My last one graduated last year, and I don't know that I ever. Hallelujah. we're getting there. Yeah. So I got 3 in college this year, so a few more years. But I would be open to having a discussion about that too as a member of the school board. So
A couple of years ago, I received a catalog from Ivy Tech, giving us a view of all the variety of classes they had. When was the last time a catalog was sent out? I don't remember when it was, but I did receive one sometime back.
Yeah. So Ray, we've pretty much gone to digital now. We're not doing as much print. I know I'm not positive, but it's possible that the print catalog you received was for those lifelong learning courses. I will be honest and tell you, so I've been with Ivy Tech since 2006. And
Okay.
I think that was the last year that they published a print catalog of all of their, credential seeking or degree seeking courses. It's all technically
digital.
changed. It's all digital.
Okay. So that's when I received it. Quite a while back. I'm getting old then.
This is Ray Howe.
We're not hearing you, Ray.
Foundation.
Oh, there you go.
I'm doing fine. And I just wanted to say that I signed an awful lot of checks from students going to Ivy Tech, and particularly the second semester. A lot of students change, but the foundation has worked very closely with Ivy Tech and has a lot of respect for Ivy Tech. So from our perspective, we really appreciate Ivy Tech.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Ray, that means a lot because so I represent the Ivy Tech Foundation, and in my world, I work with donors to raise funds for exactly that purpose, right? For scholarships that will help offset the cost of attending college. But we can't do it all. And we rely on school foundations, community foundations, and other groups to help make that possible. So thank you so much to you and your board for making that happen. That equates to almost, with yours and the other schools that support us, almost $100,000 a year in scholarship support. And that's apart from the Ivy Tech Foundation's own support. So thank you.
Can't beat that type of education and the convenience of that type of education. So thank you, Ivy Tech, for all you're doing.
Susie, could I ask you to repeat something? You were talking about how much money was raised by foundations other than the Ivy Tech Foundation for scholarships, and I did not get that amount.
Yeah, it's almost $100,000.
Okay, thank you.
And then the Ivy Tech Foundation supplements that with another almost $130,000 in scholarship support.
Very good.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for asking.
The other thing I think that might be helpful is, again, I've been around Ivy Tech for a long time and love the people and love the mission and all they're doing. But one of the really compelling things is I think that people don't know, maybe kind of piggybacking on what Tracy said and just making parents aware, but really it's so much more affordable. And so it makes that advanced degrees after high school much more attainable for people. So I would add, talking about scholarships and all the efforts, I think if parents also knew that not only is it in your backyard, you can live at home, so you eliminate that cost, and that the tuition cost is much less. I just think that more people might also take advantage of it, or parents encourage their kids or see a way forward for it. So affordability isn't the barrier that it would be at another institution.
Yeah, I agree with Shauna. I didn't say this, but I've always subscribed to the foot in the door theory. If you get started on something, you can grow from there. And Ivy Tech offers that foot in the door. You know, kids are sitting for the SATs and they're stressing about their scores and can I get into a college? As I mentioned, Ivy Tech doesn't ask you for an SAT. When I took my class, I picked up the phone and I called and right in there. It is that easy. And a lot of these people who think, well, maybe I can't go to IU or I can't go to Purdue or whatever. I didn't do well in high school or, you know, they didn't think I was good, but I think I can. Send them to us. We'll make them a success. That's what we do. It's all about, you know, take that first course. We'll tutor them. We'll give them the support. We'll teach them they can, in fact, do it. They can, in fact, succeed. And the next thing you know, there's another course and another, and we've got a 2-year, and then we've got a 4-year and a master's and a doctorate. That's really all we need to do is just get the foot in the door and get these students coming to us, and we'll help them succeed.
One point that I want to just quickly make, I got an associate's before I went on to my 4-year right out of high school. And I think it's a good argument to the students to let them know that you don't have to take an SAT. You can get your prereqs done. The scary math classes that a lot of people can't pass when they're in school, you can take real easy at Ivy Tech. So I just think to make that argument to the students too, that save money and get through all those scary classes that you don't have to deal with when you go to IU, I think it's just really compelling.
I agree exactly with you. And I think another part of that, just to add to that, is that so many classes are transferable to 4-year colleges if they're taken at Ivy Tech. And I don't think Ivy Tech really emphasizes that point to students, that they can take 2 years of schooling at home before they go to Purdue or IU, much cheaper than they can if they go directly to IU or directly to Purdue or ISU or whatever 4-year college they choose.
One program, the workforce program, you know, it started with Cook, and they developed My Cook Pathways. And if you work at Cook, they will pay for your education at Ivy Tech in certain, I think there are 5 career fields. But the McDonald's in Bedford, Mitchell, the Stieglitz's McDonald's, they have the McDonald Bridge. And if you work at McDonald's, they will pay your tuition to advance your education at Ivy Tech. I mean, I know they don't pay a lot of money, but they do pay that. So there's multiple ways for someone who maybe doesn't have a lot of money or is worried about I can't afford it, but really wants to succeed. Look up one of these employers who will actually pay for you to attend Ivy Tech.
You know, Martha made a point that I'd like to revisit for a moment. She was talking about the, some students might be struggling, say, with finite math, which is a real tripping block for so many students. I'll be honest, I don't even know if finite math existed when I was in college. I don't recall ever hearing about it, but it is. It's a challenging course, and we have many students, and this isn't just at the Bloomington campus, but statewide. Those students who are enrolled at Purdue or Ball State or IU or wherever else, they will take those courses at IU. It's not because they're easier, because it's exactly the same course. It's because the method of instruction and the smaller class size and the academic support that's available makes it possible for them to succeed. It's just a different dynamic for them. But in order for us to offer that course and have that credit seamlessly transfer back to that 4-year institution, it has to be the same course. It's the same instruction, the same exams, the same rigor. It's just the way it's delivered. So that has been really helpful for a lot of students as well. And we call those guest students, right? So they're enrolled at a different institution, but they come to us for certain courses. And finite is a big one. Economics is another one. I'll do that.
Okay.
Right.
And I'll post it on the Bedford Rotary website, Facebook page. And I encourage our fellow Rotarians to share it, because you can really get a lot of people viewing. And Rowena will have her normal very detailed minutes that, and Lynn, I want you to read them because she'll put stuff in there that you said that you don't remember you said. I just thought I'd point that out.
Okay.
Okay, well, that's pretty good. I just had a phone call from my brother down in Florida. He's going to tell me how nice it is down there, and I'll tell him how white it is up here. But anyway, folks, that concludes our meeting today, unless you have a question. I see one.
Donna,
here.
Donna has a question.
Donna
Donna,
first, and then Lynn.
you're on mute, Donna.
One more time, Donna. There
Okay.
you go.
Okay, am I off? Am I not
Yeah,
talking
you're
now?
on.
Yeah.
You're on.
Okay. I got a text while you were meeting from Elizabeth, and she said she didn't have any real update. The dialysis is on Tuesday and Thursday and Saturday afternoons, aggressive therapy, Monday through Friday, 3 hours every morning. He has therapy, and she said he is extremely impressed and encouraged.
All right, very good.
Okay.
And Lynn, you had one other comment? No, you're okay. Very good. You're welcome. Thank you. We don't have such a good thank you put in front of us very often. That's very nice. Thank you, Shauna, for being with us as well. And Joyce, good to have you. And Susie, thanks for leading the program this afternoon. All right, now we say our four-way test, what we live by in the Rotary Club. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendship? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And is it fun? Did I say it right, everyone?
Yeah.
I hope so. Well, thank you for joining us today. We'll look forward to seeing you next week.
Bye-bye.